Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Gates channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and hit like for more daily drama updates and spoilers. Your support truly means a lot and helps our channel grow every day. The quiet calm surrounding Fairmont Crest is about to shatter as another explosive week unfolds, and every family finds itself standing on the edge of revelations that could change their lives forever. The week of August 10th through August 14th promises emotional confrontations, dangerous secrets, shocking betrayals, and life-altering decisions. But before those dramatic moments arrive, the lingering tension from the current week continues to tighten its grip on everyone involved. Every conversation seems to carry hidden meaning, every glance hints at unfinished business, and every character is slowly being pulled toward a collision they may not be able to avoid. Old wounds refuse to heal, dangerous obsessions continue to grow stronger, and even those desperately trying to protect the people they love discover that fate has a way of pulling them back into the very chaos they hope to escape. The emotional weight hanging over the Dupree family is impossible to ignore, and as the days unfold, it becomes increasingly clear that no one will emerge from this storm unchanged. As Wednesday arrives, Anita Dupree finds herself overwhelmed by a frustration that has been quietly building for far too long. Sitting before the piano inside her home, she pounds the keys with visible anger while Vernon Dupree watches from nearby, his face marked by deep concern as he recognizes that his wife has reached the limit of her patience. The music is no longer soothing. It has become the sound of bottled-up emotions finally demanding release. Anita appears determined to give one of her daughters a firm deadline, refusing to allow Dany Dupree to remain emotionally trapped by her obsession with Bill Hamilton and Haley Lawson any longer. After everything Dany has endured, from arriving at Bill's wedding with a gun to spiraling into destructive behavior that nearly destroyed her own future, Anita knows her daughter has fought too hard to reclaim her peace, She may insist that Dany has only a short amount of time left to let go once and for all, making it painfully clear that constantly dwelling on Bill and Haley is preventing her from fully healing. Although Anita remains suspicious that Haley is still hiding something or secretly betraying Bill, the greater concern for both Anita and Vernon is protecting Dany from reopening emotional wounds that nearly consumed her. Elsewhere, Eva Thomas Richardson receives devastating news that threatens to cast another shadow over the fragile hope she has been trying so hard to hold on to. Ever since surviving her terrifying medical ordeal, Eva has done everything possible to convince those around her that she is recovering, but beneath her brave smile, the cracks have become increasingly visible. She continues insisting to Isaiah Hawthorne that everything is fine, yet her hesitation whenever intimacy becomes possible reveals how deeply self-conscious she remains about the scar left behind by her transplant. Physical healing has not erased the emotional scars, and viewers have already noticed moments when she still appears to be in discomfort despite her efforts to hide the pain. The terrible news she receives could point toward frightening complications related to her transplant, though it may instead involve unexpected trouble waiting for her at the clinic where she works. Another possibility lingers even more ominously because Eva's unstable mother, Leslie Thomas, continues interfering in the lives of everyone around her, making it impossible to predict where the next crisis will emerge. Leslie's behavior grows increasingly disturbing as her obsession with Nicole Dupree Richardson reaches another dangerous level. She deliberately hired Noah because he happens to be the son of Kyle, one of Nicole's romantic partners, giving Leslie direct access to someone she believes can become a powerful weapon in her campaign of manipulation. Instead of offering Noah guidance or encouragement, Leslie quietly fills his ears with poisonous assumptions and twisted interpretations designed to make him question everything he believes about Nicole and his own father. Her fixation only intensifies when she spots Nicole spending time with Dr. Carlton Fitzgerald at the Fairmont Crest Country Club. Watching from a distance, Leslie cannot resist making bitter, sarcastic comments to herself, mocking Nicole's relationships while suggesting that Carlton is enjoying intimate moments with her at a cheap hotel. Whether Leslie learned about Kyle Rollins staying at Nicole's house or simply pieced together gossip from Noah, she eagerly twists every detail into another excuse to spread suspicion, proving once again that she has little interest in truth if lies can cause greater damage. And at the same time, Vernon meets with Isaiah Hawthorne, and although the exact reason for their discussion remains uncertain, it could involve Banneker business or perhaps concern over Eva's recent struggles and everything that has surrounded her recovery. Across town, however, another family faces a painful emotional crossroads as Tyrell Richardson discovers that his plans are falling apart faster than he imagined. His dream of attending school with Jessica has already slipped away, and Jessica has made it painfully clear that she has no interest in maintaining a long-distance romance. Instead of quietly accepting the disappointment, Tyrell finds himself locked in a heated confrontation with Martin Richardson, who loses patience and refuses to watch his son drift through college without commitment. Martin firmly reminds Tyrell that simply going through the motions is not enough, but Tyrell fires back with equal frustration, insisting that he is tired of everyone constantly telling him how to live his life. Declaring that he is now 18 years old, Tyrell attempts to assert his independence before storming away in anger, yet the emotional outburst only reveals how deeply lost and overwhelmed he truly feels as adulthood suddenly becomes far more difficult than he expected. As Thursday unfolds, the emotional pressure only intensifies, pulling every family deeper into conflicts that have been quietly brewing beneath the surface. Leslie Thomas and Ted Richardson once again find themselves standing on opposite sides of the same painful reality as they clash over Eva, each believing they know what is best for their daughter, despite years of complicated history between them. Whatever terrible news Eva has received continues to cast a heavy shadow over everyone who loves her, and neither parent can ignore the fear that another heartbreaking setback may be waiting just around the corner. Ted's protective instincts refuse to rest, while Leslie's unpredictable emotions threaten to turn genuine concern into yet another destructive confrontation. Even when their intentions briefly align, the bitterness of the past makes cooperation nearly impossible, leaving Eva caught in the middle of another emotional battlefield she never asked to inherit. Meanwhile, an entirely different mystery begins spreading through Fairmont Crest as Randy Parker suddenly becomes the center of attention. Members of the Dupree family cannot understand why Haley Lawson seems so closely connected to him, and the questions surrounding their relationship only continue multiplying. Dany Dupree and Vanessa McBride initially suspect that Haley has been secretly involved with Randy romantically, but Vanessa eventually uncovers an important piece of information revealing that the two actually come from the same hometown. Viewers already know the truth, that Randy and Haley are cousins, not secret lovers, but that revelation hardly puts anyone's suspicions to rest. Instead, the family becomes even more curious about why Randy has repeatedly hidden details and behaves so nervously whenever Haley's name enters the conversation. Every answer seems to create two new questions, and the web of deception surrounding them grows thicker with every passing hour. Dany refuses to let Randy escape so easily, cornering him with sharp, relentless questions that immediately leave him visibly shaken. She presses him about Haley, about the day of her supposed miscarriage, and about why he deliberately used another name during that encounter while pretending not to recognize the very woman everyone now knows he was protecting. Randy struggles to maintain his composure, but Every second under Dany's scrutiny increases the pressure, threatening to expose the entire conspiracy. The mere possibility that Dany could take her suspicions directly to Joey Armstrong may be enough to send genuine panic racing through Randy's mind. If Joey becomes involved, carefully buried secrets could rise to the surface far sooner than Haley ever intended. Randy may ultimately decide he has no choice but to warn Haley that the Dupree family is getting dangerously close to uncovering everything they have worked so desperately to hide. Elsewhere, Bill Hamilton finds himself arguing with his daughter Chelsea over the woman who has completely transformed his life for the worse. Chelsea and Bill's other daughters remain convinced that Haley is hiding something sinister, but Bill stubbornly refuses to entertain the possibility. His pride simply will not allow him to admit that marrying Haley may have been one of the biggest mistakes of his life, and that same pride blinds him to warning signs becoming impossible for everyone else to ignore. While Bill digs in his heels, Nicole Dupree Richardson reaches an emotional turning point with Dr. Carlton Fitzgerald. Carlton has made it increasingly clear that he wants Nicole entirely to himself, but Nicole refuses to surrender her independence or allow anyone to dictate the terms of her personal life. Whether Carlton finally walks away in frustration or Nicole calmly tells him to accept her as she is or leave altogether, the relationship reaches a crossroads that forces both of them to confront uncomfortable truths about what they truly want. As the week races toward its conclusion, another storm quietly gathers around Andre Richardson. For days, he has lived beneath an invisible cloud of anxiety, haunted by mysterious champagne deliveries and unsettling reminders of a past he desperately wishes had remained buried overseas. Dany still has no idea why Andre seems distracted or constantly looking over his shoulder, but viewers can already sense that something far more dangerous is approaching. The unsettling mystery surrounding his past soon begins revealing its true face as the person stalking him prepares to step out of the shadows. What first seemed like harmless uneasiness now feels like the beginning of a nightmare capable of destroying everything Andre has worked so hard to build. Every unanswered question leaves him increasingly isolated, and every quiet moment feels filled with unseen eyes watching his every move. Friday arrives with yet another wave of shocking developments as Kyle Rollins is blindsided by information he never expected to hear. Whether the revelation comes directly from Nicole herself or through Noah repeating Leslie's poisonous accusations, Kyle suddenly realizes that the situation surrounding Nicole has become far more complicated than he imagined. Another spoiler suggests Nicole personally updates a stunned Kyle, making it possible that after her emotional confrontation with Carlton and Leslie's humiliating public behavior, she finally decides she is ready to move forward with Kial in a more serious way. Their relationship may finally become exclusive, offering a rare moment of hope amid a week otherwise consumed by fear and betrayal. Yet even this promising development cannot completely silence the chaos spreading across Fairmont Crest, because another far more terrifying crisis is only moments away. Just as one love story appears ready to move forward, another family's nightmare begins. Haley Lawson finally appears to be getting exactly what she wanted, but her apparent victory carries terrifying consequences. Bill suddenly collapses in what looks like the final and most devastating stage of his mysterious illness, leaving everyone around him fearing that death may be only moments away. Fortunately, Caroline Lee happens to be nearby and quickly steps in to help, ensuring Bill reaches the hospital before it is too late. Inside the emergency room, Madison Montgomery scrambles desperately to determine why Bill's condition has deteriorated so dramatically, realizing that something is terribly wrong as his symptoms become increasingly severe. Every clue points toward the horrifying possibility that Haley may have increased his final dose of poison after Randy warned her that time was running out. The realization transforms Bill's medical emergency into a potential attempted murder investigation, raising the terrifying question of whether Haley has finally crossed a line from manipulation into something far more unforgivable. While Bill fights for his life, Ted Richardson focuses his attention on comforting one of his devastated daughters. The emotional support almost certainly goes to Eva, whose heartbreaking news continues weighing heavily on her spirit, although Kat Richardson may also find herself crushed by guilt after spending so much time trying to expose Haley's scheme. If Bill truly lies between life and death despite everyone's efforts, Kat may struggle with the painful belief that they failed to stop disaster before it struck. At the same time, Andre reaches the point where he can no longer battle his fears alone and finally turns to Bradley Smitty Smith for help. Convinced that someone from his troubled past in Europe has returned to haunt him, Andre desperately hopes Smitty can help uncover the stalker's identity before the situation spirals completely out of control. As if that growing danger were not enough, Joey Armstrong's sister Heather continues moving closer to both Dany and Vanessa, and her increasingly suspicious presence suggests she may prove every bit as dangerous as her reputation already implies. The following week, from August 10th through August 14th, the danger surrounding Andre escalates dramatically as his mysterious stalker boldly sends him an invitation requesting a private meeting. Every detail surrounding the message feels unsettling, carrying all the hallmarks of a scorned and dangerously obsessed former lover, unwilling to let the past remain buried. The timing could not be worse because Andre is already hiding painful secrets from Dany after secretly sleeping with Bill during the fundraiser. Dany now carries that devastating secret while Andre guards another equally explosive truth, and the weight of both deceptions threatens the very foundation of their marriage. Secrets rarely remain hidden forever, and this relationship now stands on dangerously unstable ground. At the same time, Martin Richardson and Smitty attempt to help Tyrell recover after Jessica officially ends their relationship, leaving the young man completely heartbroken. Samantha Richardson may find herself resisting the urge to say, "I told you so," because she warned Tyrell this painful outcome was always a possibility. Back within the Dupree family, Anita and Vernon remain deeply concerned about Dany following Bill's near-fatal collapse and the inevitable exposure of Haley's shocking endgame. Their greatest fear is that seeing Bill vulnerable once again could awaken old emotions Dany fought so hard to overcome, pulling her right back into the toxic relationship she spent months trying to escape. Vernon quietly watches everything unfold, carefully observing Bill's behavior once he begins recovering later in August, determined to understand exactly what Bill still wants from Dany. When Vernon eventually demands answers regarding Bill's intentions, it becomes obvious that both he and Anita will stop at nothing to protect their daughter from repeating the mistakes of the past. Their horror is likely to grow even greater once they inevitably discover Dany and Bill's secret elevator encounter, another revelation capable of reopening wounds everyone believed had finally begun to heal. Elsewhere, hope begins blooming in a far more uplifting corner of Fairmont Crest as Jacob Hawthorne quietly prepares something special for Naomi Hamilton Hawthorne. Wanting the surprise to be perfect, he recruits Naomi's best friend Ashley Morgan along with Ashley's boyfriend Grayson Perez to help make his plans a reality. With Grayson now working as bartender at Uptown, the popular gathering place seems destined to become the setting for whatever heartfelt surprise Jacob has in mind. At the same time, Eva and Isaiah Hawthorne finally lower their emotional defenses and begin speaking honestly with one another, opening the door for their relationship to grow stronger than ever before. Yet Leslie refuses to abandon her obsession with Nicole, continuing to manipulate Noah and poison his thoughts against both Nicole and his father, Kyle. Before long, however, Nicole and Kyle are expected to recognize exactly what Leslie is doing, and together they may finally give Noah the reality check he desperately needs. As all of these stories continue unfolding, Ted Richardson remains burdened by constant concern for both of his daughters, knowing that each faces battles no loving father ever wants to witness. Bill Hamilton, meanwhile, is finally forced to confront the devastating consequences of the terrible choices that brought him to the brink of death. The life he nearly lost becomes the ultimate reminder that arrogance, betrayal, and misplaced trust often carry consequences far greater than anyone expects. With Haley's alleged poisoning scheme now threatening to unravel, one haunting question hangs over Fairmont Crest long after the dust begins to settle. Will Haley Lawson somehow escape justice for attempted murder, or has her desperate quest for power finally pushed her beyond the point where there is no turning back? Only the days ahead will reveal whether redemption, revenge, or devastating tragedy awaits the families whose lives have become hopelessly intertwined.